is it, bro? Something tickled your funny bone?
Oh, spare me the puns. We have a massive issue at hand here.
What do you mean?
This theme song. Don't you think someone as prestigious aside, the great Papyrus should have a theme song that has a little more, punch to it? I need more brass, more percussion, and most important of all, more marimba.
Oh, okay, bro. I'll see what I can do.
You think we overdid it?
Nah.
Hello, Voices of Color people. Happy to see some of you here, and if you're watching this live stream, cool. If you're watching it after it all happens, also cool. Up to you. That's how this digital life works. Yeah, so we're still kind of in a weird spot of online schooling where we aren't quite, what's the word? We aren't quite exactly doing our curriculum yet. That's not going to start until next week, actually, where we officially start our curriculum. However, so many of you already did the coronavirus article that I posted up that I thought I should probably post something up this week. However, I didn't want to post up something that was super intense or something that was super heavy. Actually, I take that back because what I posted actually is kind of heavy. But anyways, I wanted to post something up that I guess basically something that just wouldn't require you to do a ton of research or a ton of like reading or writing. You, of course, have to use your critical thinking because that is something we should be practicing in all of our lives, in our entire life, not just in school-related stuff. But doing this project won't necessarily require you to like have, you know, read an entire book or anything. Although if you want to read an entire book, of course, go forth and do so. So let's go take a look at our buzz and we can see what exactly I posted up there. I'm going to just flip my screens really quick, just so that way we are all in this together. Oh my gosh, I graded so much stuff today and I'm still somehow at 81 things that still need grading. What the heck? It's like people just keep doing stuff when I post things. What on earth? Who would have thunk? So here we are, my Voices of Color class. So Voices of Color. So Intro to Online, most of you have already done that. And now we also have a watch a documentary type thing. So again, this is just explaining what I have already explained to all of you in the stream, but just that we are trying to, I guess, kind of expand our knowledge about the world continually. And yeah. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So this is the first thing that you have to do first is probably understand some of the background information about this. So the documentary you are about to watch is called, and I'm just going to zoom in here so that way it's like not so small on the screen. How do I hide this? Go away. Be gone. Oh, I guess I can't make it disappear. That's fine. So the documentary you're about to watch is called Waiting for Superman, which follows the lives of a couple families who are living at the mercy of the education system. Many of these families are working class families who are just trying to provide the best educational opportunities for their children. However, the public school system poses many challenges where they live and private options are too expensive. So some of the common vocabulary that you're going to need to know to watch this documentary. So a public school is a school funded by local tax dollars, and anybody who lives within the district boundaries of a public school is guaranteed to have admissions into that public school. So for many of you who live in the Middleton Cross Plains area or also the Elver Park area, which falls within our district boundaries, many of you are, many of you count as like you're part of Middleton School District, and therefore you don't have to necessarily like apply to go to school here. You just get automatic admissions into the school district. So a private school, on the other hand, is a school funded by private funds. So this can either be in the form of tuition costs, that's such as the cost to simply attend the school, paid by families, or donations. So private schools can set their own rules in terms of admissions, and that has to be within reason. Obviously, a private school can't discriminate against, a certain type of person. Like a private school can't just say, we don't accept Black people. Like that would just be ridiculous. And you don't have to live in a certain area to attend a private school. There are no requirements for that. So I could live in Middleton and I could go to Edgewood. Edgewood is one of the private schools here in Madison. And then the new one that is going to be new for a lot of people is a charter school. So a charter school is funded by local tax dollars and is available to anyone who applies for that school. So simply living in the district isn't enough to necessarily guarantee you a spot at this charter school. Most charter schools you still have to apply to and be accepted to. So let's take, for example, I don't want to take it up on there. Let's take, for example, let's do a quick Google search of like charter schools in Madison. Sure, we'll do Badger Rock Middle School. Which I actually didn't realize Badger Rock was a charter school. I thought it was a public school. So charter schools often partner with public schools in that, like, they work together. So a public school and a charter school still work together. Up here, that's just like a warning about, you know, coronavirus, things like that. So let's take on this, like, 4 students. So where is it? I want to try to find, like, the application and things like that. Maybe that's in the school policy guide? No, this is all just... Okay, I think I was right. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Badger Rock is just part of, like, MMSD. Well, this one is literally called a charter school. So you know what? Let's take a look at it. Actually, let's do New Century Charter School because I think that's the high school. And we are all in high school here. So we can take a look at that. Just kidding. This is not the high school, but that's fine. We'll take a look at it anyways. So New Century Charter School. Let's look at the about the New Century. So community that brings together knowledge and nature. Oh, so it looks like this charter school is maybe more focused on like having a naturalistic approach to education, which is cool. Charter schools tend to do this, where charter schools tend to have a, whatchamacallit, they tend to have like thematic elements that they incorporate into them. So for example, this one looks like it brings together nature into education. So I imagine a lot of the classes are focused around nature and a lot of the experiences that they try to build in are focused around nature. So this says the educational needs of New Century students are met in multi-age classrooms with instruction that uses environmental themes to tie together all academic subjects. Local examples of the nature world, such as the Upper Sugar River watershed and Verona Area High School forest, serve as backdrop for core subjects: literacy, science, social studies, and math. The curriculum aligns with standards set by the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction, DPI. So those are the same people who set the standards for all schools in Wisconsin, and the Verona Area School District. It also includes frequent and imaginative use of technology by both teachers and students. So yep, I was correct in that this school's theme is definitely around nature and naturalism. And again, that's something that you'll see across a lot of charter schools, is that they tend to be themed in a certain way. So more about us. Oh, New Century School has been a tuition-free 5K K-5 option in the Verona Area School District since 1995. Cool. All right, so they've been around for a while, and you'll notice that they are tuition-free. And the reason why they can be tuition-free, or like they don't have as expensive tuition as, say, a private school, is because they actually get money from the public government. So what happens is, if someone wants to start a school, they can actually apply for a charter grant through the government, and they get to dip into the same money that public schools dip into. And you can imagine that sometimes that can become an issue if like public schools and charter schools are trying to fight for the same resources. But I don't know, it'll really just depend on who you're trying to ask, or who you ask. A lot of different educators have different opinions about charter schools. I personally haven't really figured out where I stand on the subject yet as an educator. I haven't had an experience around charter schools, so I don't exactly know where I stand on the issue yet. Come join us on a tour of our current and new school buildings. What is this? Oh, they have a video. Okay, I think we should watch this video. So I'm gonna pause my music really quick. Oops. That wasn't what I wanted to do. There.
Hello everyone, and welcome to New Century School. New Century School started back in 1995 in this very same building, and it has been around for 102 years. Our site has been the school for thousands of children in the Verona area. Come on in, let's go take a look. You just need to look around our site and history pours out. Just look right here at these pinholes. These were here when the lunch menu used to be hung here. And right behind these doors is where the cafeteria used to be. So, adding to all this history are the mission and sustaining values of our school. New Century's mission is, we are a laboratory of learning. Our community is built on our foundational ideas. I is for innovation. We are fearless innovators. D is for discovery. We creatively explore our world. We find learning in and outside of the classroom. E is for engagement. We are empowered through rigor and reflection. A is for autonomy. We cultivate self-reliance. And finally, S is for service. We sustain a strong community through our service. All of us, students, parents, teachers, administrators, and community members, have an important role to play in achieving and sustaining excellence by working within these 5 ideas. While the incredible things we do at New Century School each day will continue into future years, where they occur will change. Our current New Century Sugar Creek campus buildings will be handed over to the City of Verona as part of our development agreement with the city. On September 1st, 2020, New Century School will have its first day of school at 400 North Main Street. We look forward to more incredible learning and creating more memories at our new site. Would you like to see it? Well, let's go on a field trip to visit. New Century is known for its outdoor learning field trips. Let's just take a look at a few highlights of our new building. This will be the location of our new office, although it'll look a little different. And right behind me is the hallway where New Century School will be located. This is the hallway Verona Area International School will call home. And this is our new library. In addition to sharing the library, both schools will enjoy the music and art room down this hallway. Here's the gym. And finally, even though it'll look a little different, here's the cafeteria. So there you go. We look forward to welcoming you on September 1st. See you then.
Wow. How wholesome and happy. Sure makes me want to join this school. So, as you can see right there, turn my music back on. So as you can see right there, some of the things that charter schools get to do, because they are not just a straight up public school, they get a little more freedom in what they're able to do. That's not to say that a public school couldn't do something like field trips out into nature and things, but it is to say that when it comes to a public school, there tend to be a lot more rules and regulations, and they tend to have a lot more, they're under a microscope a lot more. And there's a lot more people who can get angry and will get angry about basically everything. So that is what a charter school is. Again, a charter school is something that is publicly funded, so they get money from the government. They can also get donations, and most of the time they do not charge public school fees. If we were to take a look at, for example, though, let's take a look at an example of a private school. So we can go look at like Edgewood, for example. So let's take a look at the Edgewood High School. So Edgewood High School, they've also moved to online. Now Edgewood is a private school, so let's take a look at what their admissions is like. Oh, I have to click this for a larger image? Okay. So this is saying academics, Edgewood is caring, supportive, okay, cool. College prep, alright, cool. Catholic life, yep, they are a religious affiliated school, and that is something that public schools cannot be. Public schools cannot be religiously affiliated, and neither can charter schools, because they're associated with the government and they get government funds. They cannot have any sort of religious affiliation. Because again, there's the anti-disestablishment clauses, which says that there must be a separation between government and religion. Okay, this said nothing about admissions. It just talks about the experience. Oh, okay. So they offer $8 million to $10 million worth of scholarship, but that doesn't necessarily tell me how much it is to go here. From application to decision. All right, what is this going to tell me? Vary for incoming freshmen, transfer, and international applicants. So the application is free, all right. So if I were going to be a freshman next year, these are the steps I would have to do. So I have to complete the application by December 15th. Okay, so I already missed the deadline because it's past December 15th for next year. Copy of the end of year 7th grade report card. But I mean, like, honestly, it's a middle school report card. Who is really paying attention to that? I mean, other than Edgewood and other private schools. Copy of student STAR 360 assessment or indicated. Okay. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. So I didn't know that in the application that students would have to submit essentially a standardized test score. All right. So they start on October 15th. They end on the 15th, December 15th. They make decisions by January 9th, it looks like. January 10th, they get course selection. January 13th, financial assistantship. Okay. March 31st is the scholarship application. Oh, there's a $500 enrollment deposit by June 1st. All right. And then the transfer application is a little bit different. Okay, cool. Well, this still doesn't really tell me how much it costs to go there. And where's the application? Okay, what if I click on this link? Yeah, this still doesn't give me, like... It still doesn't tell me where the application is. Okay, cool. What is this? The school profile? Ugh, okay, I don't want to look at that. That makes me not want to look at that. It's a lot of information that I don't need to look at. Yeah, so I don't exactly... Okay, here's the tuition and financial aid. Here it is. We understand that investing in a private school education can be financially difficult. Almost 40% of EHS students receive financial assistance and grants up to a maximum of 55% of tuition and standard fees. So that's interesting that it's a maximum of up to that much. So I guess none of their students are there on a full ride scholarship, which that seems fascinating to me. So what does this say? Holy moly, oh my gosh. Oh, this hurts my heart. Oh gosh. Wowza. Holy moly. That's a lot of money. Jeez. And that's just to go to school. So tuition and standard fees, that's how much you would have to pay per year. Just to like go to school. Yeah, that's quite a lot of money. So this is how much it costs total per student, and then this is how much you have to pay. And again, it looks like you can get up to 55% of that in financial aid depending on your need. So you can get like up to 55% worth of scholarships, which I guess is pretty nice. So that'll go down to maybe like $5,000, $6,000 around there, probably closer to $6,000. And wow, geez. Now, something I want to take into account is I'm curious now, if this is how much you have to pay to go to school there, I'm curious, how much does an average family have to pay just to like send a kid to a public school? Okay, so this has some information on it. Local governments provide 45% of public school funding in 2013 to 14. More than 80% came from property tax. The federal government provides less than 9% of the total revenue of public schools, and state governments contribute 46%. So it's looking like, so what this tells me is that typically about half of, a little under half of your school tuition is basically covered by a property tax. And let's see. So I'm curious now, what are the Middleton property taxes? This does not tell me what the property tax is. Okay, what if I just go here and I just type in address, Middleton. No, I don't want that. Oh, I need an actual house? Can I, property taxes. Oh, cool. Okay, so this has a straight up breakdown of property taxes in Middleton. So here we can see that the school district takes 51% of 51.7% of the property tax, total property taxes. So how do I find what is the typical average property tax in Middleton, Wisconsin? I think Middleton houses tend to be a little bit higher than that. So, okay. So comparatively, the average home, actually, I should look it up. How much does the average home in Middleton cost? Holy moly! Oh my gosh! The average home is $400,000? Alright. take that up a bunch. Okay. Let's say 375. Wow, and it's only going up. Well, I don't want a median necessarily. Is there a way that I can find the average? I don't know if there's a way that I can find the average. Sure, I guess we'll stick with median. I guess median is a more accurate measure though, because I mean there are some stupidly expensive houses in Middleton that I'm sure will like really mess up the total amount. Okay, so let's take this little like calculator that we've got right here. So $7,500. So let me pull up a calculator. Well, I guess if it's just half, that's not too bad. So if you can imagine 50% of a tax is sent to the school district. So half of 7,500, that is what, like $3,700 around there? Yeah, that sounds about right. So roughly no, it'd be closer to like $38,000. Or like 3,600. Around $3,600 of your family's, of like your household income will go towards your education. So again, compare that to this. So again, it costs about $3,000-ish, between $3,000 and $4,000. It costs about that much to go to school. And this is how much it costs to go to Edgewood or a private school. And again, that's only one private school, not all the private schools, but I think you can kind of see the example that private schools can tend to rack up pretty fast in terms of expenses. We will close that out. So that was like a rundown of public schools, private schools, and also charter schools. Now, there are some pre-writing questions that I've got for you. So these questions are just pretty basic. So like besides just knowing the terms and the definitions, what is your current understanding of a public school, a private school, and a charter school? And if you don't know anything about them, that's okay. Just say that you don't know anything about them. Second question, what is your opinion when it comes to everybody having an equal and fair opportunity for good education? Because that's going to be a very big sticking point in this documentary, is the fact that we're going to see that not everyone has an equal and fair opportunity towards a good education. And then lastly, do you think that education in its current form is currently fair? And again, I put fair in quotes because fair is going to depend on like who you are and what you consider fair. Now, after you finish those questions, I have a documentary for you. So you're gonna go to this link right here. Hold on a second. And so yeah, so this documentary will play for you. Mine is already logged in because I was logged in earlier from when I was watching the documentary, but the information you'll need is right here, which is MHS student, and then the password is student1. Now the screen may appear black at first, but it should eventually load and it should eventually allow you to watch the documentary. And if it seems stuck, just press the space bar button and you should be able to watch it. If you have any issues, of course, remember that you can always email me. We're not gonna watch the entire documentary on stream because I can't, like legally I can't do that. I would get in lots and lots of trouble if I did that, but we can watch a trailer for it. Oh no, not the Chris Daughtry song. So here's the trailer right here. Just pause really quick. I need to close up my music and turn up the desktop audio.
I don't know what college I want to go to, but I know I want to be a teacher. I want to be a nurse. I want to be a doctor.
How come?
Because I would like to help somebody in need.
wake up every morning and you know that kids are getting a really crappy education right now.
So you think that most of the kids here are getting a crappy education right now?
Oh, I don't think they are. I know they are.
Either the kids are getting stupider every year, or something is wrong in the education system.
I just try to do my best in school and make my grandmother proud.
Among 30 developed countries, we rank 25th in math and 21st in science. In almost every category, we've fallen behind, except one. Kids from the USA rank number 1 in confidence.
I think about 60,000 people have gone to this school in 40 years. 40,000 didn't graduate. This is the damage that this school has done to this neighborhood.
A child that doesn't finish high school will earn less and be 8 times more likely to go to prison.
I want to go to school.
For these kids, their only chance at getting into a great school depends on whether their number is picked in a lottery.
So if Francisco doesn't get in, is there another chance?
No.
Your children and future generations are on the bridge of the Titanic and everybody's gonna drown.
Someone has taken an interest in you, someone loves you, and they recognize the importance of education. And the first student selected, 20.
9.
It takes a lot of outrage and a lot of good examples to say, yes, we can do this.
When you see a great teacher, you are seeing a work of art.
I want my kids to have better than what I had.
18, 10, 12, 2, and the last number,
Coolio. So I don't know if you could tell from that, but like this documentary is really freaking, I don't know. I don't even have like words to describe how this documentary is. It's just, let's say this. I remember watching this documentary when it first came out on my own, actually. Like nobody told me to watch it. I was just kind of curious about it and I watched it. And for myself, I guess I can webcam only this. So for myself growing up, like I grew up in a pretty privileged background in terms of like I didn't have to think too much about what school I was going to. I didn't have to think too much about like how I didn't have to think about what school I was going to. I didn't have to think about things like, is my family gonna have enough money to pay the bills this month? Like, I grew up in a pretty middle-class household where we didn't have to deal with a lot of that. And that was because my parents had worked really hard in their life and they had lived through poverty. So they worked hard to make sure that me and my siblings didn't have to live in poverty also. And so I had always grown up thinking that everyone had an equal opportunity to education in America because like that's the reason why my family came to America. I mean, yes, in addition to the other reasons, like we were escaping war, we were escaping genocide, etc. However, education was definitely one of the really big pieces of that. And it wasn't until I started watching documentaries like this that I started to question my own experience and realize that the experiences I had growing up is not representative of every single person's experience in America. And I'm hoping that as all of you get to watch this, especially considering we go to Middleton High School, which is a fairly privileged high school, like all things considered, like we have a decent amount of money for funding and for programs, etc. We could always have more. Like every school could always have more and could always do more with more money and more funding. But in the grand scheme of things, we're like pretty well off. We're a pretty privileged district. Like we have a decent amount. And so I'm hoping that as you watch this documentary, you can make connections to your own life. You can make connections to how other people may be living their lives and start to see some of those bridges and start to see how, you know, other people may not have it as well as you do, or even as me, or whatever. Now, the point of this isn't necessarily just to like feel bad about ourselves, but the point of it is to bring awareness to the fact that educational inequality is a thing and is a reality. As a matter of fact, Dane County is actually one of the places in the United States, or I shouldn't say one of, is the place in the United States with the greatest disproportionate, sorry, let me get my wording right. It has the greatest, disparity in educational success and educational outcomes, specifically when it comes to white students and students of color, namely like Black students. And that's just like a truth that we have to live with in this Madison area, is that there are very clearly some students who are succeeding a lot, and there are very clearly some students who are not succeeding a lot. And the point of documentaries like this, and the point of understanding education on a deeper level and how it affects society, is so that way we can better bridge and better realize the things that we need to change in order to become a better society for all people, not just for some. And so if I switch over back to my screen now, I do have some post-watching questions for you. So first question is just, what is your gut reaction to watching this documentary? So for example, what are your feelings? What does this make you think about? And what is like the aftertaste of this documentary? I can definitely tell you, I was like crying when I first watched this documentary because I thought it was super sad. I thought it was really sad that people were at the mercy of like bingo, essentially, to try to get into a school that was better for them. Secondly, what surprised you the most in this documentary? Thirdly, after watching this, what is your opinion about how fair the education system is? Again, fair is in those quotation marks again. And lastly, if there was any possible change you think could make the education system more fair, what would you suggest? Again, you might not actually have a good suggestion for this. Nobody has come up with a good answer for this yet, and that's the reason why we continue to have people who are trying to make the situation better for not only people of color, but just like people in general. So that's really what I've got for you this week. I also have an unrelated question to class. So you're all seniors here, heck of a way to end high school, right? And that being said, what has been the most unforgettable about your senior year experience so far? So that is what we've got for class this week. If you have any questions, please drop me an email or a message. And I believe that is where I'm going to leave off the stream for now, just because I have no other curriculum things to share with all of you. I hope you enjoyed, and if you're watching this later, I hope you... I don't know what I'm trying to say anymore. I'm just going to end the stream. All right. Bye, y'all.